My name is Manal, and I'm a happiness coach. I support clients in cultivating healthy habits. I believe that what we do every single day matters, so we look at what they do every single day and basically make healthy, happy choices so that they can create a future that they love.
Now, the first question I have for you,
Sure.
you're a happiness coach, yes? How does one become a happiness coach? What's your story? How did you, what took you to that journey in becoming a happiness coach?
Sure. Well, I worked for human resources for 7 years, and I was a compensation and benefits manager. So I got to manage a team, and I left that job, and it was overseas, and I came back to Canada, and I took a little bit of time to really explore the things that I wanted to do, the things that made me happy, because I wasn't very happy at that job. And I realized, after I took a little bit of time, I realized that the part of the job that I actually liked was the coaching part, and the part where people came to you and they told you their problems, and basically you got to help them out. You got to help them kind of solve certain things in the workplace. And so I decided to isolate that part, the coaching part of the job, and make it my whole job. And I found a program in Algonquin, a performance coaching program. And I was like, you know what? Why not apply and kind of see where that goes? And I applied. I got in, and it was really life altering. And when I graduated in end of 2014, 2015, I started my coaching business here out of the hub, actually.
How was it life altering?
It was life altering because I got to really express myself the way that I wanted to express myself. I was working for myself. A big part of the job was reflecting. A big part of the the study was reflection. A big part of the study was awareness. And I'm a person who likes to reflect. I'm a person who likes to think about things. And I'm a person who likes to help people and really, empower them and motivate them to live their true selves and reach their potential. And I did that at work when I was working in human resources, and I realized that I loved doing that, and I wanted to do that on a day-to-day basis.
How did you know that you loved it?
Because I got excited about it, because it motivated me, because it energized me. And I think anytime you're kind of seeking something or seeking some meaning in your life, to kind of pay attention to what energizes you and what motivates you, because that's a big indicator of maybe pursuing that thing. Yeah, it excited me. I love, working with people. I love having conversations. I love digging deep into the things that are going on in their life. That was the indicator that this is what I wanted to do more regularly.
In that transition, what did friends, family, and I guess your support network, what did they think about that transition? Because you're going from, I believe, full-time employment to pursuing that independent entrepreneur.
I'm very blessed to have family and friends who support me fully. I'm part of the hub community, and so they have an entrepreneurial spirit, so they obviously help me kind of find the tools and resources in order for me to find clients, to market myself, to do all the things that I need to do as a new entrepreneur, because that's not my background. But my friends and family were very supportive. They want to see me happy, and they want to. I went through a time in my old job that I wasn't happy. I was very miserable. I went to work every single day anxious, and I didn't want to repeat that. Like, I would get into the car and I would have to talk myself down from being so anxious, like everything's gonna be okay, because I wasn't in the space that really motivated me and made me feel confident. So obviously my friends and family saw that before, and they just wanted to make sure that I was happy now and that I was pursuing something that excited me. And I think throughout my whole life, people used to come and seek my advice, and so they weren't surprised that I was going to be doing this full time, because it's something that I've been doing for a very long time, but in a different capacity, in a different space.
How do you help your clients? What's your formula or approach?
Well, first of all, we look at what's going on in their life right now because, I mean, they come to me for a reason, right? They feel like something's off. They're not satisfied in some way. They want some sort of change. Sometimes they don't know what that change is, but they just don't feel something's quite right. So we kind of look at, you know, what's going on with you now? Why are you feeling this way? Did something happen where, you know, you felt like you needed to come and actually take some initiative to change your life? And then we bring the unconscious to the conscious, as I like to say. So, you know, I focus on habits, so cultivating daily habits, right? And a lot of the times, well, we do 40 to 45 percent of our, like 40 to 45% of our day, or our behaviors are unconscious, or they're already habits. Let me say that again. 40 to 45% of what we do every single day is habitual, okay? So basically we're operating in automatic for 45% of our day.
Like autopilot.
Autopilot, right? So, you know, everything from brushing your teeth to, you know, even mental habits, emotional habits, if we've done something consistently over a period of time, it becomes a habit.
Sure.
So a lot of the times we want change, not realizing that you know, we have to really dig deep into what we do every single day in order for us to bring about that change. So we look at what their habits right now, and we look at ways in which they can cultivate new habits in order for them to really change their life. So, you know, anything from, you know, exercising to meditation to eating right, to just spending more time with friends and family. And we try to incorporate that into their day-to-day life. So we really go down and back to the basics of their day-to-day behaviors.
What's your expectation from someone who comes to you in terms of like, because they must be, I guess it's a two-part question. What's your expectation from them in terms of transparency and openness, right? Because this can get very, very personal, very, very fast. And secondly, how do you know that they are being honest with themselves and to you? I guess it's how important is honesty from a client?
It's one of the most important things. So if you want to bring awareness to your life, you have to be willing to be honest with me, but also like a client needs to be honest with themselves. Like the person needs to be honest with themselves. So honesty and transparency is key. And if you're not going to be honest, then the change that you want to see in your life is not going to take place in the capacity that you want it. It's not going to be life-altering if you're not going to be honest with what you're feeling, what you're thinking, your actions, and what has brought you to this point. Because what has brought you to this point has been a series of choices that you've made for yourself, right? So we make thousands and thousands of small little choices every single day, and they pivot us and they lead us to where we are right now. So yeah, so that is really essential. And sometimes, sometimes I know that somebody is not being honest about something, and I give them the space to just kind of feel it out, just think about things a little bit. And I'm pretty honest myself. So if somebody is not being honest, I'll look at them and be like, well, how honest are you about this? Or are you really, really looking at this in the way where, I don't know, it's just, are you looking at it with complete transparency and complete honesty? Because that's the only way that you can change your life. So it depends, but I like to give them some space to kind of hear themselves talk something out, right?
So that's interesting because you play, I mean, you are a life coach, obviously, but you also play kind of like the role of would you say like a psychologist in the sense? To a certain degree, there's some psychology there where people, because for someone to admit that they're miserable is a big admission.
Well, I mean, it is a big admission, but my role is not as a psychologist. My role is to ask questions and get them to kind of, to peel back the layers. So I just ask the questions, and they have to listen to themselves, interpret things in their way, and I'm just there to create the space where they could do that, where they're not being judged and they're being heard, and that's what I want to do, is just to create the space where they're able to speak their truth. So I don't give advice. I don't tell them what they should do. At the end of every session, they set their homework. They're the ones that kind of say, okay, this is what we talked about, so I think this is the action steps that I need to take for the next session. So I am not a psychologist.
Sure.
But I'm there to facilitate a conversation and to really, just ask the questions that maybe they're very obvious questions, but it gets them to the place where they're actually thinking about things in a different way, maybe in a different perspective.
What from having interacted with various people, the different parts of their lives, and the different careers and so on and so forth, what commonality do you see across all these people in terms of the reason they come to seek assistance and the challenges they're having? And I ask this just to give you context, because I'm amazed how many people are maybe stuck career-wise, stuck emotionally, stuck spiritually, and it's all kind of holistically interconnected, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you. There are a lot of people who come that are stuck. The world is moving in a very fast pace right now, right? We're confronted with many things that are going on in the world, but there's a lot of decisions, there's a lot of distractions, there's a lot of choices, and when you have all these choices, it's very hard to actually move or to make the choice, because you always feel like I'm not making the right choice. So the people that do come to me are people who are stuck in some sort of way, who feel like there's something missing, and they kind of just need somebody to just listen to them and to really hold them accountable. Accountability is a key thing, because anytime you want to do something personal, or you want to do something for yourself, you're accountable to yourself, right? And a lot of times we push ourselves or what our needs are to the side, because we have families to take care of, we have a job to do, we have a lot of things, requirements, errands to run, all sorts of things. So I do see a lot of people who want to be held accountable, who want change, who feel stuck, who feel unheard. I do work with clients who know that there's something that needs to change, who are willing to be in this space and be open enough to kind of explore what change what that change might possibly be. Sometimes they do know that they need to change their job. There is some sort of dissatisfaction there, but it's not that I need to change my job now.
Right.
And a lot of, I truly believe that we all have the answers. We know we have the answers to the questions we seek, but sometimes we just need somebody to talk to that's not emotionally attached to us in that way, right? So it's easy to go talk to friends and family, but there is an emotional attachment. Sometimes we just have to bounce ideas off of somebody who we don't necessarily have that emotional attachment to. So, my clients from the beginning, they know, I tell them, you have you know what you need to do. You have all the tools that in order for you to do those, to make those decisions. But I'm just here to create the space for you to kind of talk things out and to kind of explore what the possibilities may be. So I work with mostly women. I have had a few men in the past, but mostly women. And women refer me to other women. I think I don't know why specifically women seek out coaching, but I do think that they're in that space where they're willing to talk openly about what's going on with them, and to really take initiative or action in order for them to create that work-life balance, in order for them to kind of explore what meaning means to them. But I'm not quite sure why just women seek me out. It could be just the people that refer me.
Fair enough.
And so, yeah, my demographic is maybe 25 to 35 in general.
Okay. So young.
Yeah.
Young people.
Younger. We're in a place right now where people, they do know that if they want to change their life, they have to take initiative and they have to really, happiness takes work. You don't wake up every day and you're just, some people do, but it really takes some self-care, some work, some reflection in order for you to really engage in things that make you happy and to explore the things that are coming. Sometimes we don't feel good, sometimes we feel unhappy, and it's important for us to be in that space and to kind of really think about why we're unhappy and what's making us unhappy. So young women from about 25 to 35. And I get clients, I work in a place where there's a lot of entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs are referring other entrepreneurs to me, which is great. I love working with people who have their own business or have founded small businesses, because they're in that space where they want to, they want the discipline to really work on their business. They want to make the right choices. And so I have a lot of entrepreneurial clients, and I also, I do have people that work in the government, and that's because we live in a government town. So I know people who work in government, they are my clients, and they've referred me to other people in government.
What's it like being an entrepreneur in a city like Ottawa, that, as you mentioned, is a government town? Most of the economy here is mainly the public sector. Well, how does that impact someone like you in the professional development field?
Well, there's a lot of possibilities in this city, and
Sure.
and I love the city because it is a government town, but there's a lot of people who are starting businesses and who are entrepreneurs and that are doing great and wonderful things. You could just look around the space and realize there are people who are in the startup community and who are trying to do their part in changing the world and making the world a better place. So I've been very lucky to have discovered this community and to be part of this community. And then there's, we're corporations and the government, as well as from the conversations that I've had, are starting to look at happiness and work-life balance in a different way, and really they're starting to focus on ensuring that their employees are happy. So there's a lot of possibility in this community for just starting to look at how we can implement happiness programs in the city, how we can strengthen relationships between employees, and there's just a lot of work that can be done here.
How would you rate this city in terms of if there was a happy? I'm sorry, I'm putting you under the spot here. But in terms of happiness, the happiness index, 0 being you're not happy, and 10 be like complete.
That is a hard question.
Sure, but let's play around with that for a second.
No, we started an initiative in the city called Happiness Habits 613 about 3 years ago. I started it with two colleagues of mine. One is a nutritionist and one is a yogi. And when we started, we didn't know whether people would be interested in kind of coming together and cultivating happiness together. But there was a lot of interest, and every single year, we do it every August. We market it, and people come and they want to cultivate happy, healthy relationships, and they want to cultivate happiness in their own life. So I see that there's an interest there. There's a lot of people in the wellness community who are talking about happiness, who are talking about living every single day in a way that that it's healthy and meaningful. So there is a community there. I don't know. I don't know if I can rate it between 1 and
fair enough.
10, because it's very difficult. But there are a lot of people who are dissatisfied, and
What happens when someone is dissatisfied? What happens to them in terms of their mental health, their physical health, and their relationships? From what you've seen, what happens?
Well, I believe that happiness is contagious. So if I'm happy, other people around me and in my community are happy as well. And there's research into social networks that proves that. It's, I think, 3 degrees of separation. So if I'm happy, I make you happy. You make somebody else happy. But if you feel dissatisfied and in your job, in your day-to-day life, that does seep into your relationships with your family. You're not expressing yourself in the way that, I mean, it's difficult because you kind of have to look at case-by-case basis, but it just creates this atmosphere of feeling like you're not empowered to make change or positive change in your life, right? I feel like when you do cultivate happiness, you're able to, create a space where you're reaching your potential. You're strengthening relationships. When you're happy, there's research that shows that you're more creative, you're more productive, your overall wellness is, or well-being, is higher than when you're unhappy or in neutral. So, when an individual is unhappy, I think that makes the whole community unhappy. That's why it's important to kind of work with clients to at least empower them on a day-to-day basis.
So you work with a lot of entrepreneurs, right, here at the Impact Hub. Speak to us a little bit about the Impact Hub and the various cool things that happen here.
Yes.
Like this conversation right now.
Yeah, this conversation is happening because we are at the Impact Hub. And I met you
Exactly.
in the Impact Hub because of another event that was going on. If you look around, people are working, and this is their office, So this is at the core, at the minimum, this is a co-working space. But it's a space where people can come together and collaborate, where, great things. People have started companies out of this space. It's to strengthen community and to really come together in order for us to do good better. That's their motto. So they help, they give us tools, they give us the support in order for us to do good better. And that's what this community does. So it's wonderful. I love it.
Are people happy here?
Well, I don't know everybody in this space, so I don't know. But I'm hoping that if they're working towards something that gives them meaning, that there is a sense of happiness there. And it's hard work, obviously, to be an entrepreneur and to have to kind of answer to yourself and have the discipline to come every day and do the work that you do. It's tough and it's hard. But I hope that each person here is doing what they're meant to do. And they're giving back to their community in some sort of way. So altruism and meaning is part of, it's one of the principles of happiness. So I hope that they do feel happy. My hope is that they do, yeah.
How can we find you online if someone out there right now is looking for assistance in terms of instilling positive habits in pursuit of happiness or what have you? Where can we find you?
You can find me at beautifulhappyreasons.com.
Tell us right in there.
Beautifulhappyreasons.com. That's where I'm at. Or you can find me on Manal Nemr on Facebook and on Instagram as well.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.